Generally, the tendency is the false egoistic conception of things. This is the tendency generally people have in the material world. They want, like, if person first is growing up, then you want wife, then you want house, then you want children, and then you want some name and fame. So this tendency to attract things for himself, if he sees that okay, everything belongs to Krishna and just caretaker, then the tendency is different. So when we accept in that way, then we are liberated only. Any That means they want to become Krishna in this world. The example, and Prabhupada also explains another point, the example given in the previous verse is applicable here. Due to absorption of one's identity in his money, when the money is lost, he thinks that he is lost. This is another important thing. Prabhupada is talking about absorption. In which item in this world I am absorbed in? We should be absorbed in our uh, in the chanting of the holy name, service to Vaishnavas, Guru, and that will continue whole life, and that can continue after life also. Your absorption in these things, because it is temporary, it is lost. If you are absorbed in people, money, any relationship, it is always going to be temporary, it's going to be lost. So that is actually what happens. When the money is lost, he thinks that he is lost, but actually is not identical with money, nor does the money belong to him. When the actual situation is revealed, he understands that the money does not belong to any individual person or living entity, nor it is produced by man. Ultimately, the money is property of Supreme Lord, and there is no question of being lost. But as long as one falsely thinks I am the enjoyer or I am the Lord, this concept of life continues and one remains conditioned. As soon as false ego is eliminated, one is liberated. So this is as confirmed in Bhagavatam, situation in one's real constitutional position is called mukti or liberation. And now from here onwards, there is another section where Devati is asking, how is this separation possible for the living entity? How a living entity can come out of this situation? Lord Kapila explained how we are getting entangled. Of course, he gives an answer that the responsibility of a living entity is to practice bhakti, and then he will come. But Mother Devati want to, and he also explained that this is the false ego is the cause of bondage. Now she want to know in more detail how exactly this happens. And Prabhupada gave very nice, the two eternal potencies have somehow or other being combined, and since it is so difficult to separate one from another, how is it possible for the individual soul to become liberated? With practical experience, one can see that when the soul is separated from the body has no real existence. And when the body is separated from the soul, one cannot perceive the existence of soul. So, as long as the soul and body are combined, we understand that there is life. But when they are separated, there is no manifested existence of body or the soul. So now, this question asked by Devahuti of Kapil Dev is more or less impelled by the philosophy of voidism. The voidists say that the consciousness is product of combination of matter, and as soon as the consciousness is gone, the material combination dissolves, and therefore there is ultimately nothing but voidism. This absence of consciousness is called nirvana in Mayavada philosophy. So now they have this question that how is it possible? How is this happening, and how is this possible that to come out? So without, this is another point, without body, the soul does not have existence. Like when we cannot see souls, right? And she further asks, as there is no separate existence of earth and its aroma, or of water and its taste, there cannot be any separate existence of intelligence and consciousness. And Prabhupada writes, this example is given here that anything material has an aroma. The flower, the earth, everything has an aroma. If the aroma is separate from the matter, matter cannot be identified. If there is no taste to water, the water has no meaning. If there is no heat in fire, the fire has no meaning. Right. Similarly, when there is want of intelligence, spirit has no meaning. That means I'm existing, there should be some intelligence in it. Here it is actually one type of memory. Buddhi is there, buddhi of intelligence. So this is compulsory for a living entity. So all living entities have some buddhi. That means they are conscious. Here basically buddhi means there is a conscious existence. So that is always present in a living. We are conscious, right? I know that I am there. A table does not know it is there. And a chair does not know it is there. Laptop, it is functioning so much. It has so many activities, but it does not. Our mobile, it does not know it exists, but we know we exist. So what is the difference is because of this consciousness, the buddhi. Hence, even though he is passive performer of all activities, how can there be freedom for the soul as long as material nature acts on him and binds him? So this is another question she's asking, that how can there be freedom for the soul as long as material nature acts on him and binds him? So these three modes are binding us, and they are prakriti kriyamanani gunai karamani sarvasha. So these three modes are binding us. They are keeping us here intact and putting us here. So although the living entity desires freedom from the contamination of matter, is not given release. Actually, as soon as a living entity puts himself under the control of modes of metal nature, his acts are influenced by the qualities of metal nature and he becomes passive. And this is what is happening. Like we wake up in the morning, we are doing certain activities. Actually, we are not doing. Till now, till 7:30, whatever activities you do, it is not the soul who did. It is all done by metal nature only. And from this today 7:30 to tomorrow 7:30, whatever activities are happening by us, it is all done by modes of mental nature. The way we think, the way we do things, we achieve things, or we do wrong, we do right. Nothing is done by the soul. It's all done by mental nature. This is very clearly understood. It is nothing we are doing in this world. Soul is only observing. Oh, I think I am so intelligent. I am able to achieve something. I am able to handle people. I am able to work nicely, or I am able to eat nicely, cook nicely, sleep nicely. Nothing. His acts are influenced by the qualities of material nature, and he becomes passive. It is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, Prakriti Kriyamanani, right? The living entity acts according to the qualities of modes of mental nature. He falsely thinks that he is acting, but unfortunately is passive. In other words, he has no opportunity to get out of the control of mental nature because it has already conditioned him. In Bhagavad Gita, it is also stated that it is very difficult to go out of the clutches of mental nature. One may try in different ways to think that everything is void in the ultimate issue, that there is no God, that even if the background of everything is spirit, it is impersonal. There is no God, and that even if the background of everything is spirit, this is actually what mine. The speculation may go on, but actually it is very difficult to get out of the clutches of metal nature. Devati poses the question that although one may speculate in many ways, where is liberation as long as one is under the spell of metal nature? Their answer is also found in Bhagavad Gita. Only one who has surrendered himself unto the lotus feet of Krishna. Mameva ye prapadyante. So that is the only way one can come out. So Prakriti Kriyamanani, everything is done by metal nature. But Mameva ye prapadyante mayametam tarite. So by surrendering to Krishna, we can come out of it. Since Devati is gradually coming to the point of surrender, her questions are very intelligent. How can one be liberated? So this is because she is surrendering. And how we start our surrender? We start our surrender through Guru. We surrender first to Guru, and slowly we start serving Krishna, serving Guru, and we learn surrendering to Krishna by surrendering to Guru. Without surrendering to Guru, there is no question of surrendering to uh, Krishna, because Guru teaches us how to surrender. He trains us. He gives that a proper understanding for us. When we perfect our service to Guru, then we are perfecting our service to Krishna also. This is how the system works. We should not jump over. It is not possible like that. We have to, without Guru, it is not possible. Somebody, they will say, why we need a middleman? We can directly deal with Krishna, but it is not possible like that. We need to have training. Apprentice is needed, and that is given by Guru. So, Yasya Prasadat Bhagavat Prasad, Sakshat Haritvena. So, he is the Sakshat Hari. He is representative. Through him, we understand. So, now Devahuti did the same. Of course, for Devahuti, Guru and Krishna are same only. This is his son only. Both are same. But she started her surrender. Arjuna said, Sishyasteham Swadhyavanta. So, there is a surrender there. So here, Prabhupada is telling same thing. Devot is gradually coming to the point of surrender. That's why our question. Now, who is a Brahmana? People say, no, Brahmana is a by birth, or Brahmana, Brahma Janati iti Brahmana. So many things are there. But one of the important thing for a Brahmana is one who is not satisfied in his understanding of the truth. He's always inquiring. He's always inquiring. He is actually a Brahmana who always try to understand what is the truth and try to apply, all the principles that are needed to understand the truth. That he is a Brahmana. He is never satisfied. That's why Brahmana means one who learns every day something new. That is the first quality. He will never be satisfied with the day if he does not learn anything. Every day he learns something and is trying to apply in his life and trying to understand the truth. So he is not satisfied with his understanding of truth. So here, Devahuti also is not, she want to know more and more, like, how can one be liberated? How can one be in the pure state of spiritual existence as long as he is strongly held by the modes of material nature? This is also an indication of false meditator. There are many so-called meditators who think I am the supreme spirit. I am conditioning. Sorry, conditioning the activities of mental nature. Under my direction, the sun is moving, the moon is rising. They think that by such contemplation or meditation, they can become free. But it is seen that just 3 minutes after finishing such nonsensical meditation, they immediately captured by the modes of mental nature. Now, immediately after his high sounding meditation, a meditator becomes thirsty and wants to smoke or drink. He is under the strong grip of mental nature. Yet he thinks that he is already free from the clutches of Maya. Now, here, this is a very important point to be understood. Uh, there are two different conception, two extremities actually. What are the two extremities? One is materialism, one is Mayavada. So first is materialism. In the materialism, they say, especially this materialistic scientists and all, they say everything is matter. There is nothing to do with the spirit. The mind and the consciousness are the products of matter, and there is no connection between consciousness and matter, because everything is matter only. There is some combinations, chemical combinations. Is that's why the consciousness is formed. That's why the mind is formed. It's also matter only. So that's why it does not matter. Anything is because everything is matter. That is what their understanding is. That means, and it indicates that everything is uh, that the mind does not have control on matter. This is the understanding. Because mind comes from matter, so mind does not have any connection to the matter. It's a product of matter. So mind cannot control the matter. But there is uh, another extreme is of the Mayavadis or impersonal. They think that by such contemplation or meditation, they can become free and they can actually control everything. They say everything is in your mind. So they say everything in the mind, and by changing the mind or by meditating or sort of contemplating something, I will do, then you can change the reality by by your meditation. So that is the they say that everything is mind because you are seeing in a particular way. Now what you are seeing, the reality is what is in your mind. Now you start changing the thing in your mind, then the reality changes. That means it's all full in your control. Like say now, I want to have a Mercedes car in front of me, or I want to become famous. They say now you start dreaming about it. You start meditating on it. So then, at one particular time, you will be able to you'll be able to achieve it because you are dreaming. So this is another extreme understanding. One is everything is in my control, and another extreme is nothing is in our control. So both are actually wrong. One is the nonsensical meditators, Prabhupada is telling. They are imitate they are nonsensical meditators because they think that it is their control. So everything is in mind. Another extreme is everything is matter, nothing is controlled. But Vaishnava understanding is synthesis of both. It is not that matter is everything. Another extreme is not that everything we can control. So it's not, both of them are actually wrong. It's a synthesis. We say this is a very important thing. He recently had a retreat with Bhakti Vignan Goswami Maharaj. This was actually 3 sessions he took on making us understand this. What is the right way of meditation? So nowadays it has become a mockery of meditation. People do some meditation and Prabhupada is writing the same thing. After 3 minutes of the meditation, they become thirsty and want to smoke or drink. So this is not actually meditation. This is mockery of meditation. They don't understand on this. Like yesterday, some person sent me means he posted in the group one video of a person who said that there are 4 levels of chanting the names, and first level is that we all know this Vaikarika, Madhyama, Pashyanti. At the level of soul, also there is a chanting, and he says that if you chant at the level of soul, you will get all the siddhis. And but because you cannot hold the siddhis, that's why they don't remain. So within 3 months, I will teach you how to attain the siddhis. How can you hold the siddhis? You will be having such a body where you can hold all your siddhis when you chant at the level of soul. You don't know what he's talking only. And he's nicely fooling people, and people are ready to get fooled also. So this is the unfortunate situation. They don't understand what he is talking about. So he said 3 months challenge. No, no, not challenge. He said 3 months. You come join our 3 months meditation sessions, and we'll make you qualified. And you can chant at the level of soul, and you can hold all the siddhis. This is all mockery, actually. This is not correct. So the main thing is what they are telling is everything is in your control. You just have to think that you are the doer and you get it. Like how they meditate is like they have to first sit and start thinking about their dream. So they start thinking about dream, and then they should know that their dream is fulfilled and it is in front of them already and they are living in the dream. And slowly they have to make ego in such a way that they already have it and they are living like that. And then after some time in their garage, they will find their Mercedes car. So this is the way they think that our desires are fulfilled and we are going to achieve like this. So this is a very foolish understanding. But of course, we can discuss on it in our future sessions. more on this. This is actually very nice understanding of how people are fooled and how they are getting cheated. Maybe I can share some points from somebody might have heard the lectures also, but still it's good to uh, good we can revise some of the points from the sessions. I will just I will try to share some points from the. So this is the right and wrong way of meditation. So I'll just share. So there are different stages of meditation. There is smaranam, there is dharana, dhyana, and dhruvanusmarana, and then samadhi. So there are different. And what happens is this purification. Uh, we have to first purify our mind. If somebody want to meditate, before meditation, he has to purify the mind by devotional practices, and then then there are spiritual practices which starts from surrender. Sharanapati it is called, and this they say that this includes like many devotees. They are here basically. We have to. Uh, I will share the screen for you. The yeah, realization through purity. When realization comes from pure heart, even simple words can open deep understanding. Okay, this is yeah. Vaishnava meditation versus other forms. And the crucial lesson here is the difference between Vaishnava meditation and meditation of Mayavadis Buddhists. So, immature devotees may mistakenly meditate on Radha Krishna Lila, but that is not true meditation. It is Mayavada meditation only. Now, this is also a very important point. Like they think that they are qualified for this and they start meditating on Radha Krishna Lila. That means they are trying to uh, bring it to their level. So this is also they're trying to control. They say, okay, if I start meditating, then they will manifest. I just have to meditate on Radha Krishna Lila, suddenly they will manifest. It does not happen. Actually, they themselves manifest when we are qualified. We need not separately try, make an endeavor. Like people here, sorry, people in Vrindavan, they sometimes they start doing this. They start meditating, they sit and they start doing Leela Smaran. So this type, but this time it is the that is actually not correct. They're thinking, okay, we try to do some things and then suddenly it will manifest in our heart. No, this is my. They are also trying to control. They say we just have to think about it and we get it. We are the controller of our consciousness. But the true vision is of Vrindavan, Narottam Das Thakur says that only when one desires to serve Rupa and Raghunatha with strong dedication can they truly understand the divine pastimes. This is a true entrance into Vrindavan beyond superficial stories. So, this is the only way we can enter into Vrindavan is when we develop a desire to serve. That is the proper way and proper. And this is some simple notes, but more detailed Maharaj explained. But the point here is that is our Vaishnava way of meditation. We are meditating on the service to Guru. That's all. Prabhupada did the same thing. He was meditating on the service of his Guru and he continued doing service to his Guru for the rest of his life. We never see Prabhupada just sitting idly and trying to meditate on Radha Krishna Leela. So, and there are other points, but this is the main thing because that is connected to that I was. Uh, yes, Shamali Mata, you had some question.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji, after the second initiation, they see in Prabhuji for Brahma Gayatri, you should meditate on the effulgence of Radharani. And during this Krishna mantra, you have to meditate on the form of Radha and Krishna. So, is that we can do, or Prabhuji, what we should do after second initiation while chanting the Gayatri mantra? We should meditate on the syllables or on the form of the Lord, Prabhuji. That is my doubt. Hare Krishna.
I also means not exactly hmm, uh, means this meditation what they told I did not hear, but I can comment also completely. What is happening this after in 20th onwards, no 22nd onwards, Bhakti Vigyan Maharaj is taking 3 days, 3 sessions on Gayatri. Maybe after that I'll be able to once I attend that I'll be able to tell
Prabhuji, that is online
exactly.
or offline, Prabhuji? Online also we can join.
It's a online course, but it should be registered, I think. I have the poster. I'll send in the group.
Okay.
I'll post in the group.
Okay.
I exactly don't know. Means how registration is there. So I will just check, Mataji. I will post in the group. Then we can hear that. Then only I'll be able to tell because
Okay,
I
we can
also.
attend. And if I will possible, I will attend. Otherwise, you please attend and please tell me, Prabhuji, what we should do while chanting the Gayatri mantra.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Dandavat.
Then thank you. So here we see that this the question of devotees for such a person who falsely claim that he is everything and ultimately everything is void and there is no sinful or pious activities. These are all atheistic inventions. Actually, unless a living entity surrenders unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead as instructed in Bhagavad Gita, there is no liberation or freedom from the clutches of Maya. And then she says, even if the great fear of bondage is avoided by mental speculators and inquiry into the fundamental principles, it may still appear again since it causes has not ceased. This is also a very nice point she makes that what she says that even if great fear of bondage is avoided mental speculation, it may appear again. So it is not possible to avoid it completely. And Prabhupada writes nice purport. He says that material body is caused putting oneself under the control of matter because the false ego of lording it over material nature, that is Ichha Dvesha Samuttena, the two kinds of propensities arise in living entity. So What she says is because the tendency is already there. Uh, that's why again we will do the same activity. One's propensity is icha, which means desire to lord it over material nature or to be as great as the Supreme Lord. And everyone desires to be the greatest personality in the material world. And then there is Dvesha. Dvesha means envy. When one becomes envious of Krishna or the Supreme Personality, one thinks, why should Krishna be the all in all? I am as good as Krishna. These two items, the desire to be the Lord, and envy of the Lord, are the beginning causes of material bondage. And as long as so what she says, the propensity is anyway there. Salvationists or voidists has some desire to be supreme, to be everything, or to deny the existence of God. The cause remains, and there is no question of his liberation. And that means the propensity, the tendency is always there. Devahati very intelligently says one may theoretically analyze and say that by knowledge he has become free, but actually, as long as the causes exist, he is not free. Bhagavad Gita confirms that after performing such speculative activities for many, many births, when one actually comes to his real consciousness and surrenders unto the Supreme Lord, Krishna, then the fulfillment of his research in knowledge is actually achieved. There is a gulf of difference between theoretical freedom and actual freedom from material bondage. The Vaishnava way, I will try to explain it tomorrow also. I will, not tomorrow, maybe 2 days. Will not have our class because I will be traveling. But I'll explain that in Vaishnava way, very important. It is a we we understand that we can change. There will be change in the matter, but it is by changing the consciousness, not just by imagination like this. What impersonalists say that you just have to imagine that you are doing it and everything will change. And whereas scientists say that no, no, nothing to do with mind, matter is in itself doing everything. But we say no, you change your consciousness, then the matter changes. That is Vaishnava. We have control, but control is not that just by imagining I can control what the Maya this here they are doing. No, we don't imagine, but we change our consciousness. We work on purifying ourselves. That is Vaishnava. Like if I get a problem in my, there are problems with the, like I'm practicing bhakti, but there is some resistance from the family. There are problems in the family, or some other situations in the temple or anything. Instead of blaming and going in a victim mentality, what I do, I understand that this is because there is some problem in my consciousness. Let me work on purifying my consciousness. And by working, by if I change my consciousness, the external situation also changes. That is Vaishnava. So I intensify my practice of bhakti. By doing it, I'll be able to get free from the situation. We don't see the external conditioning separate from our mind. We understand, okay, if this is a problem that is happening to me, that means I have done something wrong. There is some problem in my consciousness. That's why these things are happening to me. So we see the connection like that very clearly. So we see the connection very uh, the very important point for devotee meditation is we have to see the connection, not just think that okay, if any obstacles which are coming, somebody is coming and defaming us, that means I have done something wrong. That's why this is happening to me. So it does not happen by chance. There is a gulf of difference between theoretical freedom and actual freedom from material bondage. And the Bhagavatam says that if one gives up the auspicious path of devotional service and simply tries to know things by speculation, one wants his valuable time. Klishyantiye kevala bodhalabdhe. The result of such labor of love is simply labor. There is no other result. The labor of speculation is ending only by exhaustion. The example is given that there is no benefit in husking the skin of an empty paddy. The rice is already gone. Similarly, simply by speculative process, man cannot be free from material bondage, for the cause still exists. One has to nullify the cause, and when the effect will be nullified, this is explained by the Supreme Personality of Godhead as follows. So, from here onwards, Lord Kapla is going to answer. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, one can get liberation by seriously discharging devotional service unto me. He already told that this is the duty of a living entity to do devotional service, that is, hearing about the pastimes of the Lord. So he already told, now he is going to elaborate. And he says, serious discharging devotional service unto me, and thereby hearing for a long time about me or from me. This is very important. The point is hearing for a long time is in a day also long time, and for many years also. By thus executing one's prescribed duties, there will be no reaction, and one will be free from the contamination of matter. And Prabhupada is quoting from Siddha Swami. He says, Siddha Swami comments in this connection that by association with metal nature, alone, one does not become conditioned. Conditioned life becomes only one is infected by modes of metal nature. So, this is because of the modes we are getting affected. The matter is there, but there is something called modes. Their energy actually. The energy, the spiritual energy which transforms into these modes, that is actually that energy. If someone we are coming in contact, then it makes changes. If someone is in contact with the police department, that does not mean that he is a criminal. As long as it does not commit criminal activities, even though there is police department, he is not punished. That means if a pure devotee comes in contact with matter, but the energy of modes are not affecting him. Mam chayo abhyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatitaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. Mam chayo abhyabhichari bhakti. That means if a person is performing bhakti, he will be free from the modes. He is beyond the modes. That is actually why he is in the matter only, like Prabhupada. He is beyond the modes. But he is in the material world. How is in beyond mode? The energy is not acting on him. So Prabhupada gives the example that if somebody is associated with police department, that does not mean he's criminal. Similarly, the liberated soul is not affected, although he is in the material nature. Even the Supreme Personality is supposed to be in the association with material nature. When he descends, he is not affected. So Krishna is also telling, he is he's beyond the three modes. One has to act in such a way that, in spite of being in material nature, is not affected by contamination. Although the lotus flowers is in the association of water, it does not mix with water. So lotus flower never gets wet. That is how one has to live, as described by the personality of Godhead. Animitta nimittena swadharmena malatmana. One can be liberated from all adverse circumstances simply by seriously engaging in devotional service. How this devotional service develops and becomes mature is explained here. In the beginning, one has to perform his prescribed duties with a clean mind. Clean consciousness means Krishna conscious. One has to perform his prescribed duties in Krishna conscious. There is no necessity of changing one's prescribed duty. One simply has to act in Krishna consciousness, discharging Krishna conscious duties. one should determine whether by his professional or occupational duty, Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead, is satisfied. In another place in Bhagavatam, it is said, Swanashtitasya dhamnasya samsiddhi haritoshna. Everyone has some prescribed duties to perform, but the perfection of duties will be reached only if the Supreme Personality of Godhead Hari is satisfied by action, by such actions. And Prabhupada says that, for example, Arjuna's prescribed duty was to fight. The perfection of his fighting was tested by the satisfaction of Krishna. And Krishna wanted him to fight, and when he fought for the satisfaction of Lord, that was the perfection of his professional devotional duty. On the other hand, on the contrary to the wish of Krishna, he was not imperfect. That was imperfect. For Arjuna, fighting was actually correct. That means killing the people, not just one, two. He has to kill thousands and thousands of people. And that is devotional service for Arjuna. Whereas he going to the forest and meditation is sense gratification for Arjuna. Why? Because that is actually will of Krishna. So meditation is wrong for Arjuna. It is sense gratification, whereas killing is proper for Arjuna. So this is how we understand. That is important uh, point that what Krishna wants, that is actually devotional service, not what we want. I may see, killing is such a harmful thing, it's painful thing. You are giving trouble to so many. But no, if Krishna wants, that is correct. And meditation is such a good thing. And no, I'm very peaceful, I'm just sitting and doing. If Krishna does not want, it is sense gratification. So it is like. Prabhupada writes that if one wants to perfect his life, one should discharge his prescribed duties for the satisfaction of Krishna. One must act in Krishna consciousness. For action will never produce any reaction. Animitta nimittena. This is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Yajnartha karmano anyatra. All activities should be performed simply for yajna or the satisfaction of Vishnu. Anything done otherwise, without the satisfaction of Vishnu or Yajna, produces bondage. So here it is also prescribed by Kapila Muni that one can transcend metal entanglement by acting in Krishna consciousness, which means seriously engaging in devotional service. This serious devotional service can develop by hearing for long period of time. So this is a very important point. How serious devotional service can be developed by, it is how serious is possible when we hear for long periods of time. Chanting and hearing is the beginning of the process of devotional service. One should associate with devotees and hear from them about the Lord's transcendental appearance, activities, instructions, etc. So in a day, few hours is meant. After certain age in life, then we should engage our time in hearing continuously. Otherwise, they say, okay, we have responsibility of family. Yeah, you clear the responsibility of family and then sit and hear. Don't increase your responsibilities after certain age. That is not correct. You are keeping on adding to it. First children, then grandchildren, then great grandchildren. You will continually have responsibilities. Then that is actually not recommended here. One has to, that's why they have to settle their life very early. You get married early, settle early, and then remaining time devote for hearing, and everything will one must hear the scriptures. There are two kinds of one by the Lord, and the other is one about the Lord and his devotees. Bhagavad Gita is the former, and Srimad Bhagavatam later. One must hear the scriptures repeatedly from reliable sources in order to become fixed in serious devotional service. So this is very important. They have to hear repeatedly. Though engagements in devotional service and become free from the contamination of mind, it is stated that hearing about the superpersonality of God, it cleanses the heart of all contamination caused by emotional nature. By continuous regular hearing, the effects of contamination of lust and greed to enjoy over matter nature diminishes. And when lust and greed diminishes, one then becomes situated in modes of goodness. This is a stage of Brahman realization or spiritual realization. In this way, one becomes fixed on the transcendental platform. Remaining fixed on the transcendental platform is liberation from the material and that is to the degree we are able to remember Krishna and get absorbed in Krishna, to the degree we are unaffected by the modes of mental nature. Like that. And further couple of so first point, what is it? You have to serious devotional service. And serious devotional service is by how prolonged hearing. So that is the first thing he told. That means he said you have to perform devotional service that he explained before also. Now he's giving it in more detail. He's telling you have to perform devotional service and how you do it by prolonged hearing. That is called serious devotional service. And he says this devotional service, which is very seriously performed, has to be performed strongly in perfect knowledge and with transcendental vision. It should be serious and it should be strongly performed. Performed strongly. How? Perfect knowledge. That means, of course, when we hear from right source, we get the perfect knowledge. One must be strongly renounced and must engage in austerities and perform mystic yoga in order to be firmly fixed in self absorption. Devotional service in Krishna consciousness cannot be performed blindly due to material emotions or mental concoction. It is specifically mentioned here that one has to perform devotional service in full knowledge by visualizing the absolute truth. This is very important. It cannot be performed blindly due to material emotions or mental concoctions. So what happens is people they become uh, processes certain people, certain things, and based on that they create their own mental concoctions. Then they cannot actually perform devotional service properly. They're blindly doing it. And because of which, what happens is like yesterday we were having this discussion that why people go to some other wrong places. They came to Krishna conscious, and in Vrindavan also we see that people go to some other organizations, some other gurus after joining ISKCON. Why does this happen? So the reason is this one because they perform blindly and their material emotions. And these preachers also, na, they also they they try to emotionally attract the person. They say, "Oh, you just do this, and everything will be taken care by Krishna, and you just have to, just surrender. You know, you come, Guru will take." They try emotionally hold, and then there are mental concoctions. Mental concoctions. They create their own understandings. Bhakti means like this only. And where it is given in Shastra, they don't need any proof. It is their own mental concoction. So this is Prabhupada says this is found because of their fertile brains. So it is specifically mentioned here that one has to perform devotional service in full knowledge by visualizing the absolute. We cannot understand about the absolute truth by evolving transcendental knowledge. And the result of such transcendental knowledge will be manifested by renunciation. This renunciation is not temporary or artificial, but is very strong. It is said that development of Krishna consciousness is exhibited by proportionate mental detachment or vairagya. So, vairagya vidya, nija bhakti yoga. So, our process is actually through detachment only. One does not separate himself for material enjoyment. It is to be understood that he is not advancing in Krishna consciousness. Renunciation in Krishna consciousness is so strong that it cannot be deviated by any attractive illusion. One has to perform devotional service in full tapasya austerities. One should fast on the two Ekadasi days, which falls on the 11th day of the waxing and waning moon, and on the birthdays of Lord Krishna, Lord Rama, Lord Chaitanya. There are many such fasting days. Yogena means by controlling senses and mind. Yoga, Indriya, Samyamya. Yogina implies that one is seriously absorbed in the self and is able, by development of knowledge, to understand his constitutional position in relation with the Supreme Self, Super Self. In this way, one becomes fixed in devotional service and his faith cannot be shaken by any material allurements. And the next shloka says that the influence of material modes has covered the living entity, and thus it is as if the living entities were always in blazing fire. But by the process of seriously discharging devotional service, this influence cannot be removed. Just as wooden sticks which cause a fire are just screwed by it. So now he is how it works. This is nice. Prabhupada nicely explains. He says that fire is conserved in wood sticks, and when circumstances are favorable, the fire is ignited. But the wooden sticks, which are the cause of fire, are also consumed by the fire if it is properly dealt with. Similarly, the living entity's conditioned life of material existence is due to his desire to lord it over mental nature and due to his envy of the Supreme Lord. Thus, his main disease that he wants to be one with the Supreme or he wants to become the Lord of the material nature. The karmis try to utilize the resources of material nature and thus become its Lord and enjoy sense gratification. And the Jnani, the salvationist, who have become frustrated enjoying the material resources, want to become one with the Supreme Personality of Godhead or merge into the impersonal effulgence. These two diseases are due to material contamination. Metal contamination cannot be consumed by devotional service. Sorry. Metal contamination can be consumed by devotional service because in devotional service, these two diseases, what are they? Namely, desire to lord over metal nature and the desire to become with the Supreme Lord are absent. That means the devotional service means we are always eager to render some service. We have that desire. Therefore, the cause of mental existence is at once consumed by the careful discharge of devotional service and Krishna consciousness. And devotee in full Krishna consciousness appears superficially to be a great karmi, although working, but the inner significance of devotee's activity is that they are meant for satisfaction of Supreme Lord. This is called bhakti. So Prabhupada gives same. Arjuna was apparently a fighter, but when by his fighting he satisfied the sense of Krishna, he became a devotee. Since a devotee also engages in philosophical research to understand Supreme Personality person as he is, his activities may thus appear to be like those of mental speculators, but actually is trying to understand the spiritual nature and transcendental activities. Thus, although the tendency for philosophical speculation exists, the mental effects of fruitive activities and peripheral speculation do not exist because this activity is meant for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, any questions, comments before we end? Tomorrow and after tomorrow, we'll not be having our sessions and traveling. So, okay. Thank you all very much. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.